top 5 CX trends for 2022. This is a topic I'm really excited about. My name is Frank Cuccio. I'm a customer success manager here at BrainSell, and I'll be your host for today's event. Before we jump in, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. This will be a 45-minute interactive discussion. So if at any time you have questions, just drop them in the chat box and my colleague Caitlin will interject as appropriate. We're going to be recording this event and we'll share the recording via email, so you'll likely get that in your inbox tomorrow morning. And finally, following today's event, you will receive a gift card from a meal delivery vendor of your choice. All right, and with that, it is my pleasure to introduce you to our speakers today. On the line, we have Ark Mandal, Senior Solutions Consultant at Zendesk, and Joey Edwards, Senior Customer Insights Manager at Zendesk. Thanks for joining us today. And just quickly, our agenda, we want to make this as interactive as possible. So we'll have questions at the end with the audience, or we'll start with questions with Joey to learn about current and developing trends in CX. And then we'll transition to Ark to show us Zendesk support and the cool functionality in action. We'll close with any remaining questions from you, the audience. And lastly, we'll wrap up and reveal our promotion for all attendees. But before we jump into the Q&A, a brief intro on BrainSell for those that are new to us. BrainSell is a growth enablement company, which means we focus on people, process, and technology to take a consultative approach to your business challenges in order to map out the best and fastest path to success for your company. We have deep cross-industry vision that allows us to offer a wide-angle view on unconventional solutions, because the best approach is rarely the most familiar. We provide you with access to a team of growth enablement consultants, data analysts, and a dedicated customer success manager to ensure continuous improvement and optimization of your technological investment. We've been around for almost 30 years, and we are the premier Zendesk partner in North America. And we'll do a quick poll question. So this is to pick out your meal delivery vendor. Your options are Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, or you can donate the meal instead to No Kids Hungry. So make your selections, and then we'll jump into our discussion. All right, so for the last few years, Zendesk has been conducting research on CX trends. And Joey, could you share with us a little bit more about how the research is conducted and why it's so important?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks so much for having me today. Every year, we at Zendesk produce a comprehensive CX trends report aimed at helping leaders understand the customer service and experience landscape and where the market is headed. We do this by looking at data from a few different sources. Number one, we run a global survey in over 20 countries with over 4,600 business leaders, managers, and agents to really understand what's important to them, what decisions and investments they're making, and what challenges they're facing. We also survey over 3,500 consumers globally to understand what their expectations are and what drives them to make a purchase. Aside from the survey, we leverage our industry-leading Zendesk product benchmark data that comes from over 95,000 Zendesk customers worldwide who participate. And this helps us understand things like changes in performance and volume across channels. Our goal with CX Trends is to make sure you're aware of the changes happening so you can always stay ahead to provide the best service and experience to your customers.
Awesome. All right, and question two. In this latest research, there were 5 trends that you guys uncovered. I'd like to run through each of them, and then you could tell us a little bit more about each one. And I'll just hand it over to you now. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
happy to talk about the different trends. So our first trend is around how customer service can drive bigger profits. We see that offering excellent customer service is a key differentiator in the eyes of customers and companies alike, and it really has a major impact on your revenue and profits. We found that 73% of business leaders report a direct link between their customer service and business performance. And 64% of leaders say that customer service has a positive impact on their company's growth. And it's not only impacts growth, it also impacts retention. 60% of leaders say it improves customer retention, which we all know is extremely important to profits, especially in today's landscape. But we've said that customer service drives profits, but how do you drive profits with customer service? Well, driving profits with customer service starts with meeting customer expectations to deliver quality service. Customers are looking for helpful and empathetic agents, always on and immediate support, and streamlined conversational experiences, no matter who they're talking to, whether it be human or bot. And again, meeting these expectations does drive results. We found that 93% of consumers will spend more with companies that offer communication on their preferred channel, and 90% will also spend more with companies that allow them to find answers online themselves via self-service without ever having to talk to a human. Inversely, if you fall short of meeting these expectations, your profits impacted. 61% of customers will defect to a competitor after one bad experience. That's a crazy number. And that number jumps up to 76% if it's two negative experiences. And you're not only losing a customer, you're likely creating a very vocal critic who can dissuade new customers. We found that 60% of consumers have purchased something from one brand over another based on the service they expect to receive if they have an issue with what they've purchased. So perceptions about the service you offer alone are enough to sway purchase decisions. This ties well into our next trend around how customer expectations are higher than ever. We found that more than 60% of consumers report that they now have higher expectations compared to a year ago. And not only that, they're reaching out more. Customer engagement is up 14% year over year, and ticket volume and requests have increased across every channel. The good news with that is that business leaders do recognize that customers have higher expectations and are reaching out more. 56% of leaders say that driving better customer experiences is the top priority for them over the next 12 months. The not so great news is that when many have placed this as a top priority, our research shows that there are 5 common customer service traps that teams often fall into and derail from growth in meeting these expectations. But by knowing the traps, I think you can personally avoid them, which leads us to our next trend, the traps that customer service leaders need to avoid. The first trap is customer service really isn't wowing your customers. You're not meeting their expectations. We found that 60% of companies surveyed gave themselves high marks for service, but 68% of customers said there's room for improvement with the service they receive, meaning there's a pretty clear gap there about what you're doing versus what customers want you to do. Despite companies giving themselves such high ratings overall, when we dove into the data, we found a far less rosy picture. Only 20% of leaders say they're extremely satisfied with the number of channels they're offering, and even less than that are satisfied with the resolution rates that they have with their customers today. Now is really not the time to settle for mediocre experiences, especially given where the economy is. The second trap is leaders aren't fully committed to improving customer service. While I mentioned that leaders may be prioritizing driving better experiences, many have yet to actually implement the changes necessary to make it happen. Case in point, 70% of business leaders say that their organization views customer service as a critical business priority, but a surprising 40% say customer service is not owned by a C-suite executive at their organization. Leaders really must be plugged in and follow through to stay ahead of these rising customer expectations. Only 50% of companies report having a strategic plan for customer service, which means that half of them don't. For those without a long-term plan and executive ownership, now is the time to start planning it out. Now is the time to try to get that executive leadership in your organization. The third trap is that investments aren't keeping up with growth demands. As I mentioned, engagement is up about 14% year over year, and customers expect better service than ever. Increasing funding to hire more agents, improving training programs, or acquiring the latest technology could help ease the burden, but budget forecasts are largely misaligned. We found in our research that there's a gap between planned budget increases and expected increases in ticket volume. And while ticket volume and budget increases shouldn't be thought of as a one-to-one ratio, it's clear that many teams are going to have to figure out how to do a lot more with a lot less. What I would recommend doing is evaluating your customer service capabilities and ensure you have things like self-service and automation in place to make sure you can handle the increases in engagements. And right now really is not the time to be cutting your customer service budget. The fourth trap is agents are starting to really feel burnt out and undervalued. As the primary and sometimes only human connection that a customer can have with your brand, agents have grabbed the attentions of senior leaders. 80% agree that service agents play a vital role in customer retention. But despite that visibility, the risk of burnout is extremely high. Heavier workloads, more responsibilities, inadequate training, and mixed signals from leaders have many agents feeling overwhelmed and really underappreciated. Only 15% of agents are extremely satisfied with their workload, and less than 30% feel empowered to do their job well. The silver lining with that is agents are fairly clear with what they say will help them do their job well. What they need is manageable workloads, more training, clear advancement opportunities, and generally just more respect in their organization. Remember, not our study, but many studies have shown that happier humans make better employments, and that's so important for support teams because that means better experience for customers too. And the last trap, disjointed systems confuse and really halt growth. So having a best-in-class customer service team isn't possible without having the right tools in place. An increase in expectations and volumes are hard to meet without streamlined workflows and the right tools behind the scenes. And when it comes to optimizing on the back end, companies really do have some catching up to do. Efforts to optimize internal operations have really taken a back seat over the past few years for more visible customer-facing priorities, such as revamping the website or increasing the number of support channels. But what companies don't realize often is that back-end inefficiencies directly affect customers too, and we found that the cracks are really beginning to show. Now's the right time to evaluate the tools you're using internally to ensure that you have collaborative processes, that you're providing agents with the right information when they're interacting with your customers, and that you have the correct workflows and processes in place to streamline the service experience overall. So while we just went over the traps and they're pretty easy to fall into, the good news is that not everyone has fallen into them. In fact, there are many companies and high performers doing things right that we can learn from. Which brings us to our next trend. What are the high performers doing right now? Well, first, they're prioritizing funding. They understand the inherent value of their customer service teams. High performers are 5 times more likely to strongly agree that their organization adequately funds customer service. And they're 3 times more likely to have plans to increase customer service investments by over 25% in the next year. Next, they're really getting that strategic buy-in at the top of their organization. Leadership takes more of an active role in monitoring performance, determining the strategic direction of customer service groups. And we found that in many cases, compensation of senior executives is directly tied to customer satisfaction. High performers are 9 times more likely to report that senior leaders view customer service metrics on a daily basis, and are 4 times more likely to report that senior leadership compensation is directly tied to NPS or Net Promoter Score. The next thing we can learn from them is that they're really tapping into the full potential of their agents by truly supporting them. High-performing companies understand the need for more agent training, more empathy, and more investment to reduce churn and empower their people. They're 6 times more likely to have plans to extend education and training opportunities for their agents over the next few months. And lastly, what we can learn from them is that the high performers are really embracing and integrating emerging capabilities across their business. Companies that are ahead of the curve on customer service have their fingers on the pulse of when it comes to the latest technology and trends. For example, we see that high performers are about 3 times more likely to use AI, particularly to power chatbots and to help with agent workflows. And they're 7 times more likely to have already implemented conversational experience capabilities, which means things like adding messaging channels or making it possible to switch between channels for a single ticket. And this ties into our last trend really around how emerging technologies can help accelerate growth. Companies really looking to drive and sustain growth by meeting expectations need to really understand the potential of 2 emerging customer service capabilities. One is around conversational customer experiences, and the other one is around AI and automation. We really believe that the future of customer service is conversational and will be fueled by things like AI and automation. And this has already been proved out. The high performance we just talked about have already begun to prove this out with ROI for their teams. For that first area around conversational customer service and experiences, when we look at the rising customer expectations, it's very clear to us that customers hate repeating themselves, and they certainly don't want to wait on hold while agents hunt around for information that should be available at their fingertips. And conversational customer experiences really do solve for this. And when we say that, like, that can be sometimes a little, people don't always understand what we're saying by that. But when I say conversational customer experience, I mean it's the ability to offer fast, personalized, uninterrupted interactions across any channel, any space, so in store or online, and where customers can stop and start their interaction with you whenever they need. Businesses really should be evaluating right now their entire journey to ensure that these conversational experiences are possible and that they're delivering them. We found that 70% of customers now expect these more conversational experiences when they're engaging with companies, and that 75% of customers actually expect agents to have access to all the relevant information about them, why they're reaching out, their past purchase history, when they're contacting your support team. So making sure you're giving that information is so super, super critical. Business leaders and managers acknowledge that their organization will have to make some changes to support conversational customer experiences. And while each business's needs are a bit different, we found that there were 3 main changes we heard most often that businesses said they'll need to make. Implementing new work processes internally, training agents on new ways to have different types of conversations with customers, especially when you're trying to have longer term relationships with them, and invest better in automated capabilities like self-service and AI. Which brings me to the second capability I mentioned, AI and automation. And we see it everywhere, but AI is really defining what's possible with customer service. And business leaders recognize the critical role AI will play. And while the vast majority of leaders plan to increase their AI budget, many leaders have yet to really tackle the more nuanced and difficult question of clearly defining where and how to use AI throughout their experience and how to balance AI with humans. I think what's most important to remember is that consumers are very open to AI today, and they expect it to make their lives easier. And the technology exists to do it well today. And by making consumers' lives easier with AI, you're making your life easier for your business and increasing revenue. Right now, companies should really think about how their current AI strategy and capabilities can be evolved to better the experiences they provide. And this includes things like using AI to handle simple questions, using AI to capture relevant information that can be passed to a human if needed, and generally just expanding the use of AI throughout the customer journey. I could speak a whole hour about these 2 areas, and I have, and I'm always happy to, but I recommend checking out the full CX Trends report. We dive a lot more into AI and conversational experiences and have laid out some recommendations on how you can build service strategies with these 2 capabilities over the next year.
Wow. Yeah, so it seems like if you can kind of get an executive to focus on this, exceed expectations instead of falling short, and enable your high performers to do even more with technology, you're going to be set up for success.
Exactly.
Everyone's talking about the economic uncertainty that we're heading into or already in. So with that being said, out of these 5 trends, I know they're all important, but which one would you say is the most?
Yeah, that's such an important question right now, and it's something that is on top of my mind constantly. And I think it's the most kind of important trend is the one that it underlies. Most important thing to remember is that you really do need to continue to meet customer expectations to provide an excellent experience. They're not going to be letting down, so you can't be letting down either. It plays such an important role in driving profits and retention. So you really need to make sure your customer service and experience is not falling short. We know the stakes are high. Economic uncertainty means businesses have less room for errors with their customers, and it's really not the time to lower your CS, your customer service standards. We did a recent research study outside of CX trends, and we found that the vast majority of leaders said that providing excellent customer service during an economic downturn becomes even more important, and that providing excellent customer experience is key to future-proofing their customer base during times of economic uncertainty. So I think my overall advice is don't ignore the experience. Don't say that what I've done now is perfect, I can never touch it again. It's time to make sure you're stepping up and keeping customers happy.
Awesome. Yeah, it's kind of interesting though. You exceed expectations, and that just means, yeah, you did a good job. You fall short, and everybody's getting out there and blasting you, so you got to make sure you do it well.
Exactly.
Last question is, how is Zendesk using this research to impact its customer experience technology?
Yeah, we look at this research and trend every year. When we look at it, we want to make sure that we're providing capabilities that allow our customers to stay ahead of the trends and making sure that they're able to meet the customer expectations of the market. And I actually think the best way to show you how the research impacts our technology is for you to see it yourself. I think that's why we'll be jumping into a demo shortly.
Yeah, and so thank you. Those were great insights. Ark, we're gonna switch over to you and see how CX tool like Zendesk can address some of the trends that Joey brought up.
Awesome, thank you so much. Just give me 1 second here as I share my screen. All right, perfect. So just a couple of slides here at the beginning to set up the demonstration, and then we'll go ahead and hop right into the product. So real quick for our agenda for today, I'm going to give you a quick company overview of Zendesk. Then we're going to go ahead, hop into the demo, and then we'll take some Q&A here at the end. So here at Zendesk, we are the champions of customer service. CX, or customer experience, has been in our DNA over the past 13 years since day one. So really, this is our bread and butter. It's not an auxiliary product. All we do is customer experience. Our solution is trusted by over 110,000 brands in 160 countries. And as you can see, all of our customers are from varying industries, so it's not an industry specific solution. Really, it can be used in customers in a variety of these industries. So around travel, you have Uber right there, Expedia, in internet, Slack, Groupon, in the software space, Box, finance, SoFi. So a lot of varying customers in different industries. And these are some of our core pillars that we'd like to discuss here. So we're grounded in customer experiences. We're a powerfully easy solution. So it's all the power and capabilities that you need without the complexity, with a beautiful UI. It's an open and flexible platform. So if you do need to integrate or push and pull data to a third-party system, that's very possible. And we'll talk about some of the different apps that are available today a little bit later. It's a data-rich solution, and it's always going to offer you the best total cost of ownership, whether you're leveraging the out-of-the-box capabilities of the solution or extending the product. So let's talk about the family of products today. Starting with Zendesk Support. This is our flagship customer-centric solution, a customer-centric solution for all things customer support and service. So this is where we're going to be living in the demo for most of the demonstration. Then we have Zendesk Guide, which is a help center which can allow your customers to easily find information on their own, pretty much serving as that first line of defense before your customer has to reach out to an answer bot or eventually get transitioned to a live agent. And then we have Zendesk Chat, which we now are referring to as Zendesk Messaging, which is all about delivering rich conversational experiences that don't expire across the web, social, and mobile apps, allowing you to meet customers where they are. Then we have Zendesk Talk, which is a telephony solution where we can leverage a built-in soft phone experience, which is tightly integrated with the agent workspace. Using Talk, our agents can actually go ahead and call the customer or vice versa for a more complex use case. We also do integrate with, the common solutions in that space, such as a RingCentral, Cisco, or AWS Connect as well for our larger enterprise customers. Then we have Zendesk Explore, which is our baked-in analytics solution within the Zendesk suite. So that gives you analytics and dashboards right out of the box. And then we have Zendesk Sunshine and Sunshine Conversations, which is all about able to meet your customers and being able to build a deeper integration, connect to social channels, and then have rich content within that conversational experience, whether it's selecting an airline seat or making a payment from within a chat window. And then last but not least, we have our answer bot, which you'll see in the demonstration, which is going to go ahead and deflect frequently asked questions from the customer before giving the ability to reach out to that live agent. In the end, all the things here that I mentioned provide your customers with the best total cost of ownership from setup to the ongoing experience. So let's talk about Zendesk experiences really quickly here. So this discusses the different use cases that Zendesk can cater to. On the left, we have a customer external use case, and today's use case will be a B2C order support, which we'll dive into a little bit later in the next slide. But just wanted to illustrate that it can be used for tech support, product support, proactive e-commerce, and then from an internal perspective here on the right, it can also be used internally from an IT help desk, HR help desk, or employee experience perspective as well. And then using Zendesk, you can of course collaborate within multiple departments such as sales or marketing and operations as well, really giving that 360 support experience to that end user. And the last slide here. So just to kind of set up the demonstration. So we're going to start with the end user, and the end user is going to attempt to try to find his answer on our Zendesk Guide website. And he's going to search through a couple of things. Unfortunately, he won't be able to find his answer, so he's going to actually use one of these channels to reach out to an agent. For our demo purposes today, that channel will be our chat, and we're going to go ahead and transition him to a live agent. We're going to have a little bit of a back and forth interaction, and then we're going to talk about the information available at the fingertips of the agent, all the contextual data of our end user. We're going to go ahead and service the end user, and then we'll talk about reporting at the end, and then how other apps can overlay on the agent workspace there. And give me a second here. I got to switch a couple of screens. And actually, let me stay here for this screen, and then I'm going to go and switch to this screen. All right. So I'm logged in as an end user. His name is Rick Sable. We can see his name and photo up here on the top right. And we have our website here, which is fully customizable. We're emulating a company called Entertainment 276. They sell various products, and as you can see, it's a multi-branded company. So if I wanted to go into electronics or home decor, this is a separate brand. It's going to pull up the same similar type of help center, but it's going to be a different look and feel, catering to that additional brand. Now, to start with, let's figure out, Rick's trying to figure out where his order is. So he's going to go in our search, which is actually auto-suggested. So if I go to type in track order, we're seeing article suggestions automatically populate. So let's go to the first one here. How do I track my order? And let's assume in this case for Rick, he actually just didn't get that confirmation email for whatever reason. So confirmation email should be sent. So he didn't get this, so this doesn't really help him much. But we can actually scroll down and see if there's any related articles that could be helpful. We can note if this has been helpful or not, and we can kind of toggle and click around to different articles here on the left. Additionally, in order to submit a request to an agent, he could actually click on this link instead of going to the chat. But just to demonstrate the chat, we will click on the answer bot here on the bottom right. But the main value here with the guide is that customers have a self-service option for them to first search for their question without having to reach out to an agent, which is going to end up deflecting some of that pressure from those agents, freeing up their time to work on more complex issues. So let's click on this answer bot here. And let's say I cannot find my most recent order. And the decision tree of your answer bot can be fully customized. So you can basically tell the bot what you want to populate as a response. And you can even set it up where they do have the ability to transition to a live agent, or maybe you're just starting out, you don't have that many agents and it's just it's static. It's not going to allow them to reach out to an agent, but then they can submit like an email request. And then that can be then worked on later. Okay, so in this case, this isn't helping us too much. These guide articles aren't doing it. So let's go ahead and actually get in touch with the agent. And we're going to click on live chat. Department, that's optional, so we don't always have to click on that, but we can just say, hi, I need help finding my most recent order. Let's go ahead and start that chat. I'm going to flip my screen. And I'm just going to actually go over here in my agent workspace, and we can accept the chat as we can see on the top right over here. Right now I am online, so if I was offline, for example, as an agent, the chat wouldn't have populated, and I'm also online to receive phone calls if that does occur. All right, so as I accept this chat, now I'm in the ticket. So within the ticket, we have a couple of different bits of data. So we're servicing Rick, so we can see that his ticket is tabbed up here. His name is here, as well as the ticket number. Side conversations, this basically means if I needed to pull somebody else in via.
Hey, Ark, I don't think we're seeing that screen.
Oh, it's still on the other screen. 1 second.
All good.
Thanks for that. Is that a little better there?
Yeah, we're all set now. We see the tabs.
Okay, sweet. Let me just take it from the top again. So within this screen here, we have different bits of data, including the user, the ticket number. We can go ahead and create a side conversation if we like, meaning looping somebody else in from our company via email or Slack to get some information regarding the ticket. On the left, we have the brand, which is Entertainment 276, the requester. This form can change the different fields available on the left. So we're just using a general inquiries form with these different fields. We can specify if it's a question, incident, problem, or task and prioritize this. And then this can be used to filter our tickets based on priority as well. And on the right, we have our user information, phone number, email, of course, his name. We can actually see what pages were viewed within the guide. So that gives us an inkling as to what Rick is looking for. And that's helpful because as an agent, you're not asking him, what do you need help with? We can clearly see he's trying to track his order. We can see prior interactions and conversations with Rick and what he's clicked on within the help center or any other agents as well. So we already have a ton of this contextual information, which is going to allow us to give us a better customer service experience to Rick. Moving along here with the panel, we have an internal knowledge center here for our agents if they're trying to find some information on some questions they might have, like kind of an internal FAQ, if you will. And then last but not least, we also have different custom apps that are available. So we can see that Rick is a gold status member. We want to give him that white glove treatment. We can see how much he spent. As part of the resolution, if I wanted to give him a discount code, I could go ahead and generate that coupon code right over here. And then we don't have a live integration because this is a demo instance, but you can see we could have Shopify integrated here, so we can see order information coming in from there. We could see order information coming in from a Salesforce and a variety of other apps that are available on our app marketplace. I can quickly just take a second to show you guys that right now. So if we go to zendesk.com/marketplace/apps, we can see all the different pre-built apps that are available. Most of these apps are no code or low code solutions, and it's just a point and click to go ahead and install the application. Now, if you're not seeing an app here available, that doesn't mean that solution cannot be integrated to Zendesk. It just simply means there's nothing pre-built, so there needs to be a custom built integration in that case. But this does give you, most of those common apps that you might be interested, such as your Salesforces, Zoom, Shopify, and so forth. Let's go back here into our chat window. Let's go ahead and respond. So let's just say hi. Let me look into that for you. And then I just want to show you that quick interaction. Let me switch my window. All right, so we can see the message coming in for myself. And then let's go back to my agent workspace. And we can see that there's different channels that we can respond with, right? So we can go ahead and give Rick a call. If this was more of a complex use case, we could shoot him an email if he's on the run. This is also where you would see social channels be integrated here, such as, Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, etc. But in this case, we are going to respond via chat, and we're going to use what we call a macro to respond. And what a macro essentially is, it's a pre-canned response, which can give your agents the ability to create a quicker resolution, so they're not typing from scratch. This is helpful if you have, very common issues, or this could be helpful for a brand new agent that would feel a little bit more comfortable if there's already kind of a pre-built script built in versus he's typing from scratch. In this case, the resolution is a back order. So we'll say, hey, it's going to be available in 5 days. It's going to automatically include that discount code here. And we can go ahead and send this off to Rick. Again, main value here for our agents using the agent workspace, we see the multiple different response options by channel, the ability to respond quickly by using these macros, and then pulling in data contextually using the apps that are available here within the ticket panel. Once again, let me just switch my screen to show the chat. All right, Rick's happy with that. Awesome, thank you. And we can go ahead and rate this chat as good. We can leave a comment if we'd like, but pretty much good to go at that point. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of that, and I'm gonna go back to my agent workspace window. And at this point, we can go ahead and submit this as solved. We do have other statuses available, pending and on hold and open, if in case this wasn't able to get solved right away. And we also can create custom statuses as well. But in this case, let's just go ahead and submit this thing as solved. And this is going to end the chat. And that's going to go ahead and wrap up the resolution for that ticket. If I go back home, I just wanted to show you ticket views. Ticket views allow you to slice and dice tickets by different criteria, so we can segment these tickets based on priority or a certain category or a language or really anything that is relevant for your business. So that allows us to segment those tickets, essentially also allowing them to be routed to the appropriate agents as needed. And last but not least here, let's just talk about what everything would look like from a perspective of a business manager or an administrator by showing you guys some dashboards here. So this is Zendesk Explorer, where you're going to see all these pre-canned reports and dashboards. Let's go into the Zendesk support dashboard. And from within this dashboard, you're going to be able to gain better insights into trends across your customer base, as well as the efficiency of your agent workforce. It's easy to build and use these dashboards. We can share these dashboards by clicking this button over here with employees. We can go ahead and schedule this dashboard to actually be automatically delivered at certain intervals as well. We can clone the dashboard and then tweak it. And then we can go ahead and also export this data into easily digestible formats such as a CSV, Excel templates, and then an image in PDF as well. If we go into the tickets, we can actually see the tickets that are created within a particular date range, which is right up top over here. We can see the tickets created by a specific hour or day of the week. And I could even drill in there by the day of the week and see that specific ticket, which is pretty powerful to give you that granular level of detail from a high level report. And then we can see the tickets broken across different channels here as well: web, email, social, etc. And if I go to efficiency, we also can see metrics on how quickly the tickets are being responded to, the first respond time by bracket, and so forth. There's quite a bit of data available at your fingertips, and we like that because you don't have to use a third-party analytics tool to crunch any of this, and it's easy to export as well. So again, main value here with Zendesk Explore, it's going to help you keep your businesses in sync, and you can see the trends happening across the ticketing system and find information about the overall customer experience activities from the help center to the chat. So in conclusion, we showed you how Zendesk can reduce the customer effort to increase satisfaction. So first and foremost, giving your customers an easy to use self-service tool such as the help center and chatbot. Agents can then see the tickets come into one centralized area, coming in through various channels in the agent workspace. And then lastly, as an administrator, viewing all that data using the analytics tool Explore. With that, I will hand it back over.
Thanks, Ark. That was great. We're going to hop into the audience Q&A. So let me just pull up the chat box. And first one is, which support channels are included inside of Zendesk or with Zendesk?
Yeah, so channels include email, help center, messaging channels, messaging, social channels, voice, and text.
So basically everything you showed is all encompassed.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, and the second one is, how hard is Zendesk to implement?
This is one of our biggest value propositions. It's actually a very simple solution to implement. Typically, it could be anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks. It could be less if it's super simple, not that many users, and then obviously it can go a little bit longer if there's custom development work, multiple integrations, things like that.
Excellent. And how do Zendesk and BrainSell work together? I'll take that one. So we would be your partner for Zendesk. We provide the implementation services. You would be assigned a customer success manager who would help with your renewal, all sorts of different things. But yeah, we'll go on to the next one is integrations with other solutions. You kind of covered that, but I would add that, like you said, if it's not in the app marketplace, that's something you could talk to BrainSell about, and we could help point you in the right direction or even build a custom integration for you. I think that is it as far as the questions, unless Caitlin has any others. Nope. All right, and so the special promotion for today, thanks for joining the Lunch and Learn, and in addition to the free lunch, we'll be offering a complimentary CX process audit. So we'll review your current process and usage, identify opportunities to leverage automation and data for optimization and scale, and we'll document actionable next steps. I want to thank Joey and Ark for participating today. It was great to have you on. And as a reminder, we'll be sharing the recording tomorrow, and we'll have my colleague Zach following up with you later this week to get feedback on both content and scheduling any next steps. Have a great rest of the week, and thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.